Okay, so we're back. This is Thursday, and a lot happened. I know we talked about the court case yesterday, but we're going to jump right in. A ton is going on, and we're going to start off with what is one of the scariest things that's happening on Tuesday, and almost no one seems to have noticed that this went on. So the Republican-led House Administration Committee voted Tuesday to shut down the Election Assistance Commission. The agency is the body that basically ensures that voting machines aren't interfered with, and it provides for a fair election. And it's the only agency that we have with that responsibility. What's worse, or I guess more terrifying, depending on your opinion, is this announcement comes right after we saw Russian hackers reportedly attempt to access the voting system in over 20 states during our 2016 election. Additionally, the Presidential Commission on Election Administration that was set up by President Obama in 2014 has reported an impending crisis in voting technology, and the Brennan Center found that over 42 states are using voting machines in last year's election that were outdated and ill-maintained. So, the EAC is about as far from useless as you can get right now. And right now, it was a 6-3 vote out of committee to approve Harper's measure. It's not yet clear when the House will consider the measure. He's introduced the bill 4 times to eliminate the agency, so this isn't the first time. However, this is the first time that the measure has this good a chance with a Republican-controlled Congress. For those of you who have been following my shadow government theory for the last couple of weeks, this is pretty much par for the course and right on schedule. Fair elections have been potentially suspended, so that's great. Moving on, we have a lot of confirmation hearings going on this week. Betsy DeVos was confirmed. Before you get too upset about that, a small group of Republicans have introduced a bill to get rid of the Department of Education. This shouldn't actually surprise anybody. Many Republicans have long viewed the department as just another piece of big government creating rules and regulations, such as the Common Core, which a lot of teachers are against, when it should be left to the states. While unlikely it'll pass, it does make for some really humorous headlines right after Betsy DeVos was confirmed. Jeff Sessions was next on the list, and though he should have been confirmed on Tuesday morning, Democrats have been sponsoring delays pretty much all through the last week. We had another 24-hour protest on the Senate floor that pushed that confirmation to Wednesday morning, but he was confirmed. The bit of drama that turned up there, Senator Warren was officially chastised for reading a letter from the wife of Martin Luther King Jr. on the Senate floor, since it spoke poorly of Sessions. Little known rule that they used to essentially require her to sit back down and shut up. Of course, that led half a dozen other senators to jump to her aid. They all got up and read the letter, and none of them were actually chastised in turn. So we saw a lot of "Let Liz Speak" showing up on Twitter, and of course, she later read the letter in a couple of places as well as on YouTube just to make sure she got her 2 cents in. It's worth noting that while Sessions' confirmation is almost assured at this point, he is going to be in for a long battle with Democrats. They have said they have no intention of letting up the pressure over the course of Sessions' tenure. The same goes for Representatives Tom Price and Stephen Mnuchin, who are also expecting votes this week and who were voted out of committee in the absence of Democrats who've boycotted that vote, and Republicans simply suspended the rules in order to be able to proceed. Democrats will no doubt continue this kind of blitz approach to the Senate floor in order to delay confirmations as much as possible. And like it or hate it, it is working. Trump has the fewest confirmations at this point in the history of presidents. So that's kind of exciting. We will also be seeing Scott Pruitt's confirmation efforts go forward, to the chagrin of basically anybody that has ever cared for the environment at all. He'll be the head of the EPA, and there's a bill already in Congress to eliminate the EPA entirely. You might be seeing a pattern here. Meanwhile, kind of jumping ship a little bit, companies left and right are leaving and ditching the Trump family brand, with Nordstrom kind of leading the charge and getting chastised by Trump on Twitter for it. And by the way, that turned out great for Nordstrom. They got a 5% jump in their stock shares that day. Pretty fantastic as a reward. And despite taking some heat for those efforts, we've now seen TJ Maxx, Jet.com. There's a link below that has a whole list of all the companies that have now declared that they won't hold Trump's family name brands. Now, to be fair, some are doing it loudly and announcing themselves, like TJ Maxx and Nordstrom. Some, like Jet.com, are kind of just quietly no longer having the goods in their store without really saying anything, probably trying to catch a little bit less flack. This also comes at the same time as a lawsuit filed by Melania Trump against the Daily Mail, in which she basically laments the loss of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to launch her brand of clothing from her position as First Lady. it's really awesome to see how straight her priorities are as far as what she's doing and how she plans on benefiting from the American people and from her position. Now on to some of the bills. A bill was introduced by Senator Tom Cotton, who is a longtime Trump supporter, to slash the number of green cards and visas the U.S. will issue each year. Bills were also introduced to do away with, as I said, both the Departments of Education and the EPA, because who needs a department on environmental regulations if we destroy the environment in the next 4 years? Speaking of which, that is destroying the environment, the Dakota Access Pipeline has been declared going forward. Trump stunned listeners a few days ago saying he had not received a single phone call in opposition to the pipeline, probably because you took down the comment line at the White House, Mr. President. In any case, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers went ahead and issued that easement, allowing the massively contested pipeline to go ahead and continue. Looking briefly internationally, no one seems to know what to do. The only real noise right now is from Israel. Israel went ahead with plans that will no doubt anger many people in the international community by retroactively legalizing all of its new settlements in the West Bank on Monday. Speaking of which, 19 Jewish rabbis were arrested for protesting Trump's travel ban at Trump Tower in New York City. Finally, one last little fun aside to take away. Say what you want about Tom Brady coming out as a Trump supporter, but the New England Patriot players are saying they do not want to visit the White House in the wake of their Super Bowl win, which is customary. That's it for today. I hope that this doesn't depress you as much as it depressed me. I don't have any action items today as far as what to do about these things. Obviously, writing and calling your representatives is always a good idea, especially about this whole election assistance commission business. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.